invigilator, and school administrator, numbering some 800,000, will be provided with 3 pieces of reusable face masks, i.e. 2 being provided tomorrow and the 3rd within a fortnight. Nonetheless, I encourage parents to provide their wards and children with at least 1 face covering on their way to school. A total of 18,000 Veronica buckets, 800,000 pieces, maximum of 25 students will be permitted in each class. All-day students in schools with boarding houses will be resident in these boarding houses, whilst day students in schools without boarding facilities will commute from home and will be required to adhere to enhanced hygiene protocols. Visitors to the schools will be allowed. There will be no mass gatherings and no sporting activities. Religious activities under the new protocols will be permitted. Social distancing and the wearing of face masks are obligatory in our schools. 1 dormitory block in each senior high school is to be used as an isolation center in the event of a student falling sick. Again, each senior high school has been mapped to a health facility, and care will be provided to the sick by nurses assigned to these schools. Through the National Food and Buffer Stock Company, enough food supplies have been distributed to all schools. Government is also making available 350 buses and 840 pickup vehicles to senior high schools that did not receive vehicles in 2016.
Ghana has 10,473 COVID-19 recoveries, with 85 deaths and 3,596 active cases. The number of positive cases stands at 14,154 out of the 270,300 tests conducted so far. Old WHO guidelines, as long as patients continue to test positive, scientifically, they were capable of infecting others, but their current research, and also by Ghanaian health experts, paints a different picture.
According to WHO, asymptomatic patients, i.e., those who have tested positive for the virus but are not exhibiting any symptoms after 14 days, quote, are not likely to be infectious and therefore are unlikely to be able to transmit the virus to another person, unquote. After 3 weeks of analyzing and studying this update and recommendation with the admonition by WHO to member states, this new patient discharge recovery policy has now been adopted by Ghana, as have some countries in the European Union, Singapore, India, Malaysia, Hong Kong, and Dubai. As of Saturday, 20th June, the total number of positives cumulatively stands at 14,154 out of the 270,300 tests conducted. Under the revised policy, 5,925 persons have recovered and been discharged. This brings the total number of recoveries to 10,473. The number of active cases is at 3,596. In our hospitals and isolation centers, we currently have 24 persons severely ill, 6 persons critically ill, with 4 persons on ventilators. 85 persons have regrettably died.
Now, final year students in public and private second cycle schools across the country are returning to school today. After over a 3-month shutdown, the partial reopening as announced by the government will see final year senior high students resume classes to enable them to take their exit exams. Students in the second year Gold Track will also be returning to school to complete the academic year. We are joined on phone by our correspondent Murtala Isa from the Northern region to give us details as to the reopening of schools in the Northern region. Murtala, good afternoon.
Good afternoon and thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining us. Murtala, where are you presently and what's happening there?
So I have just returned to Broadcasting House in Tamale. I was at the Tamale Senior High School. I also visited the Ghana Senior High School, Northern Business Senior High School, and then we ended up at the Regional Directorate of Education where we spoke with management of these schools and the Regional Director of Education.
Okay.
In recovery. As we speak, our numbers have jumped from 52 to 77 in the last week. Recoveries now stand at 32. The number of deaths at 3. As we speak, health authorities say they are investigating another death. And hopefully by the close of the day, we will know whether we have a false death as a result of COVID-19. Now, back to senior high schools. We visited Tamale Senior High School where we met management and staff in an emergency meeting. The headmaster of Tamasco, Reverend Edward Azika, used the occasion to warn his staff to be extra vigilant. He said he needs more than 100% commitment from them because any lack from any teacher or student will spread gloom for the entire school community, and that he wants the children to come in, prepare themselves, write their exams, and go home without any infection. Now, some of the students have started arriving, and they are made to go through the school sick bay. They are medically screened, and those who, unfortunately, we didn't see any yet before we left campus. If they have any suspected case, there is an ambulance on standby that will rush these children to the treatment center at the Tamale Teaching Hospital where their samples will be taken for further examination. It is the same story we had at the Ghana Senior High School, the Northern Business Senior High School, and we've also noticed that they have placed around the campuses Veronica buckets for regular hand washing. Now, the heads have also told us that they have banned all parents from visiting the school after the children have reported that they don't want anybody coming in to potentially come and infect the children, and that once your child or your ward reports to school, please stay away until the children return to you when they vacate. They have also banned food vendors from coming to campus to sell. Again, in Damascus, the senior house mistress, Madam Agnes Tampa, told us that they have reduced their numbers in the dormitory from 15 to 5 to ensure that there is no overcrowding. In the Ghana Senior High School, where they have bigger hostels, they said they have reduced the number of school children in a dormitory from 25 and 30 to 15 and then 10. Just so they could ensure that there is social distancing and other protocols are observed.
All right, thank you, Murtala, for bringing us those updates. We'll be looking forward to the main story during the 7 o'clock bulletin. We are now going to the Central region, where we'll be speaking with our correspondent Kingsley Nanabwedu, who will also be giving us updates about the schools he has visited. Central region is a hub for a lot of secondary schools. Good afternoon, Kingsley.
Hello, good afternoon.
Kingsley, thank you for joining us. I hope you are well and keeping safe.
Sure, we're doing the same here.
All right, so Kingsley, which schools have you visited and what did you observe?
Well, thanks so much. This morning we decided to move away from Cape Coast, of course, the hub of the country's education. We went to Winneba Senior High School, and when we got there, there were around 10, 11 thereabout. We realized that many parents were coming with their kids. Some of the kids, more students, were coming on their own. At the time that we got there, about 20 people had already registered. The number wasn't so huge. We were told that some of them came and sometimes based on their haircuts and certain things they have to ask them to go back and of course trim their hair down. These kids, children have been in at home and they decided to one way or the other treat their hair in a certain manner that some of the school authorities were not happy about. So we were there when some of them came, they were being returned and so on and so forth. But then in terms of preparation by the school, everything was okay. They have, of course, provided the Veronica bucket and the temperature gun or thermometer gun, whatever, and all the protocols that have been, of course, laid down for them, they are adhering to that.
Okay.
Teachers will not speak to us because they felt that, or apart from the headmistress and other school authorities that are authorized to speak to us, they can't do that. We visited some of the classrooms. Of course, at Winnipeg, some of the classrooms are empty and they are waiting. At this Saturday college here, in Cape Coast, they couldn't give me figure, but I could see students coming. They are also going through the same safety protocols, and everything is also going on well. They couldn't give me number, but of course, today is the day that they are reporting. So in terms of the numbers, they believe that gradually, maybe by evening, the number will go up. But it is not as massive as expected. Now that as we were living there, we saw cars coming. But right from when I was coming from Winnipeg to Cape Coast back, the traffic alone at the Brewa to, of course, coming to Cape Coast Siamansa was just massive. And of course, it is as a result of the fact that obviously parents are bringing their children to school. So it was understandable. We had to talk to the police officers about it, and that's what they tell us. So almost all the schools in the central region here, they are making preparation. When we were coming to, we made a stopover at Ghana, that is Infantima School, which is just along the road. When we got there, we made a stopover and we realized that the protocol was also going on. Cars were coming in, and teachers, according to some of them, everything is done. They are just waiting for them. So now that they are registering them, so everything is going on here in the central region with regards to the reopening of senior high schools.
All right, thank you very much for those updates. Kinsley Nanabodu, we are going to the upper. Have you spoken to any of the students who are going back to school today, and which places have you visited?
Yeah, thank you. I visited the Bogatanga Senior High School, the Bogatanga Girls Senior High School. When I visited the schools, I realized that they have kept in place innovative measures which has to do with Veronica buckets being placed at passage points, and then sanitizer too, in addition to these Veronica buckets. And again, they've also, all the senior high schools in the Upper East region have received PPEs from central government. So they have also tasked the final year students coming to school to at least come with, along with 2 or 3 face masks or nose masks, so that when they share those ones that the government brought in, among them they can also support it, whatever that they also brought from their various homes. And they were told, the headmaster told me that the students are coming to do, spend 11 weeks in the school, 6 weeks for teaching and learning, and then 5 weeks for the exam, that is for the final year students. But for the gold track, they are coming to do 6 weeks, that is 5 weeks for teaching and learning, and then 1 week for the exams for them to go. So my rounds in all the schools, I got to realize that they have
students who are returning to school and how the school authorities are adhering to the social distancing etiquettes. We're going to the Ashanti region. We have our correspondent Georgina Ankom. What's happening in the Ashanti region?
Yes, the Metropolitan Chief Executive and the Metro Director of Education, they are moving and monitoring whether schools which are admitting the senior high school, Asantumai Senior High School, and then Kumasi Senior Technical School. At the Opokuwa Senior High School, the new arrangement at the dining hall is that instead of the 12 people on table, they've now made it 6, 3 on each side of the table, and then they will leave another table, an empty table, before another table to contain about another 6 students. Also, the class size has been reduced from 40 thereabout to 25, while the school has also reduced the number of students in the dormitory. At the KSCS school, 3 students have their temperatures were quite high, so they have been referred to the Central Government Hospital for further tests to confirm whether indeed they are COVID-19 patients or just anxiety which has made their temperatures high. As the Asantuma, we were about 1,000 cover packets at various points and posters or notices at various points in the school to let the students know that they should wear their nose masks. And I must say that all the students, before they start the school, including parents, have their temperature checked before they enter. The Asantuma school, as I said, also top up the Veronica bucket with 10 additional standing pipes in front of the classroom. The students are arriving and the safety protocols are simply being adhered to.
All right, Georgina, thank you for speaking to us. Those were updates from parts of the country from our correspondents across the country, giving us updates, adhering to the social distancing etiquettes. We'll take a quick break.
Free, fair, credible, transparent and peaceful elections that the Commission announces a total replacement of the old voters register. To ensure a safe and secure voter registration exercise, the Electoral Commission will direct all applicants to observe protection protocols like wearing of face masks, temperature checks, washing of hands, social distancing and hand sanitizing instituted by government as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic at all registration centers. The new voters register will 1. Engender trust by enfranchising all eligible citizens. 2. Provide a good foundation for the conduct of credible elections. 3. Reduce voter impersonation and multiple voting. And 4. Ensure transparent and peaceful elections. As an applicant, you are required to present a valid passport or a Ghana card. In the absence of the two documents, you must provide 2 guarantors, persons who have already registered. After registering, you can also guarantee for 10 persons who you believe qualify to register. Date of commencement of registration for the compilation of the new voters register is 30th June and ends on 6th August 2020. Time 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. each day. Look out for announcements from the EC on websites of the Electoral Commission across the country. Register to vote. Your vote is your power. Registration of Voters 2020. Your safety is our concern.
Every Wednesday at 9:05 a.m. live on GBC News, Unique 95.7 and all GBC regional.
It is compelling.
And it's robust.
Fair, factual.
Non-partisan, objective and opinionated. We bring your thoughts alive and get you interactive by creating the platform and bringing the best in the field and getting you, our viewer, glued to your seats. With our unique styles and insights beyond what is reported. We are the Reporters Roundtable and we stand out.
There is so much of it you probably haven't seen, haven't experienced, haven't touched, haven't felt, haven't eaten. When this is all over, let's discover our land again. With new eyes, let's feel each other again. We are one people, brought together by destiny. Ghana is a truly beautiful country. Be Ghana, stay in Ghana, experience Ghana, make Ghana campaign. This channel supports the campaign.
Welcome back to News Hour. Now, some final year students have started reporting to school at WA, the Upper West Regional Capital. Our reporter in WA, Swala Abdul Wahab, was at the WA Senior Technical School and reports the management has stepped up security measures.
I expected to report to school today as directed by the president. Over 800 students are expected to report in this school. The building behind me is the first place to report to by students after passing through the protocol at the main gate. Master Emmanuel is the first student to report. He tells us what happened when he arrived here.
He showed me a way to go and wash my hands. After that, he used the thermometer to check me. And I entered my things. And I went to my senior housemaster and he gave.
Apart from providing hand sanitizer and face masks to students, security has been beefed up to ensure that students do not escape to town after reporting to prevent infection of the coronavirus.
We have been given 12 infrared thermometers, 5 sanitizers for the students. And we have also been given 2,958 nose masks for both teachers and staff, as well as 20 Veronica buckets for washing of our hands.
The headmaster of the school, Mr. Sali, expressed the hope that the measures put in place will help ensure the safety of the students and the staff of the school.
Discuss the outcome of the primaries and the party's preparedness towards the December 7 general elections.
The admonition of the president was well taken. He said he would want to see a very peaceful election, very fair, and that in the end we all go into 2020. It was very peaceful, very fair, and believe you me, even in the most rancorous of places, they've already begun unification talks and scheduled dates to put all this behind us and then move on. The other thing that was quite pleasant was the voter registration exercise, and you could see the way it was done that is doable. If we use the same methodology. You hardly saw people massing up at the voting centers. You vote and you leave, and they were not interacting that much. You were required to have your face mask on and all that. And hitherto, we normally would amass at a particular center and do the elections, and it had its ramifications.
What is striking for me probably is not the election, but what happens afterwards, the celebration. I think that's probably something we have to keep in mind going forward, because when the celebration started, people gathered
exactly. Evans Nimako to brief us on the conduct of the elections. Good afternoon, Mr. Nimako.
Good afternoon, my dear. How are you doing?
These parliamentary primaries.
Thank you very much once again. Let me greet your listeners. But what I would say to start with is that the new Patriotic Party is pleased with all stakeholders for the successful conduct of constituency delegate conferences that elected for us out. The ground have decided on the way to go with
ramifications for the party.
Nomination in all constituencies where we have certain members of parliament, except one, which is Ayahuasca West Ogun. So there was no intent whatsoever to.
Wasn't any voting in these 3 constituencies, and what were the challenges that led to non-voting?
Okay, immediately after the National Executive Committee meeting, that decided on who is to be recommended. The General Secretary told the world that Gushegu had been put on hold, Kwadaso put on hold, as well as Doman Central.
Yeah.
And this was to allow party leadership to consult with appropriate stakeholders in these constituencies. Gushegu, the certain member of parliament, decided not to contest again, and so also the organizer, Kokweju Ajimamenu, and Dr. Yao Yabua. Dr. Yao Yabua and his supporters have shown their support to the health ministry who also go to the poll. So this is the status report for these constituencies.
All right, Mr. Nimako, I mean, after voting on Saturday, the biggest issue was the disregard for the social distancing.
COVID-19 protocols. The party in organized, we decentralized into 2,407 voting centers. That tells you exactly that the party, members of the party,
GBC News, we are wishing you a good day and please stay safe. That was